Shabbat Shalom and welcome everyone. It is such a great joy to be able to come back together as our temple community at the end of the week to have this time for reflection, for growth, for relationship building, and a time to pause. Pausing is so important in our lives. It's actually a gift we give ourselves, the opportunity to stop, the opportunity to breathe, the opportunity to reflect on all that is changing around us in the ways that we remain ourselves from week to week, committed on bringing good into our world. So I'd like to welcome us all to take a moment to pause here, to take some deep breaths. You can close your eyes if you'd like, and keep them open if you prefer. As we just think back through our week, from last Shabbat to this Shabbat, from the closing of Shabbat on Saturday night, let's say Shabbat, through each day of the week. Where were you? What were you doing? What did you accomplish? How did you grow? What did you learn? Go through each week. We count each day. Each day is an opportunity and each day is a moment. Count each day towards the Shabbat until we're ready to welcome with joy the Shabbat once again. We continue in our service, page 10, Shabbat Hamalcha.
Chachama merosh hailano nistalka Bo'u v'neitzeh likrat Shabbat hamalcha Hinei yoredet hakdosha habrucha ve'ima malachim sevat shalom nucha Boi boi hamalcha Boi boi hakala Shalom aleichem malachei hashalom The sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come gather to welcome the Sabbath, our Queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her the angels of peace and of rest. Draw near, and here abide. Draw near, O Sabbath bride. Peace also to you, you angels of peace.
We welcome the Shabbat as we rekindle our internal fires. We rekindle the lights of the Sabbath. We welcome the Stegmans, Cindy and Jim, to help us with kindling our Ner Shel Shabbat. We rise, we turn to page 2 in our prayer books.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu Shel Shabbat.
Amen. Tishrei Kochech, we wish you strength. You may be seated as we continue welcoming that Sabbath bride. Page 20, Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shabbat tchila. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela.
Verse 5.
Hitoreri, kiva ore, kumi ori, uri, shir daveri. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela.
We rise and turn to face the doors.
Boi v'shalom ha'teret bala, gam b'simcha u'metzochoma, toch emunei am segula. Boi chala. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela.
You may be seated as we continue on page 26 with the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעלמא דברה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם עולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקדושה בריחו לעילה. מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, תאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו אמן.
We rise for the call to worship, the Baruch Hu, page 28.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch
page 31, our prayer for evening. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Page 32.
Seated.
Ve'ata et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha u'chol nafshecha u'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'mlechtecha b'derech u'v'shochbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtamtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Continue responsively, the top of page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Yum ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya da da la la, ya ba ba bim bam, ya da da la la, ya ba ba bim bam. Mi kamocha bailim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, no rati lo do sefele, no rati lo do sefele. Malchutecha ra'u banecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Miriam, ze'eli anu ve'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya ba ba bim bim bam, ya ba ba bim bam, ya da 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 da, ya ba ba bim bam, ya da 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 da, ya ba ba bim bam. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגדול מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
So this collective exercise we do every week that we call Shabbat has three different characteristics to it. The first is that it should enjoy an amount of oneg, some celebration, something sweet. That's actually where we get the term for the sweet treats that we share after services. It should have some degree of minucha, some degree of rest, of relaxation, of renewal, and it should have some degree of joy, of simcha. And so, Yismechu v'malchutecha, we rejoice in our rest. Page 44.
ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת בקורי עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת בקורי עונג שבת.
We're about to enter our central prayer of the evening service, the Amidah. We will join together as we do each week from pages 46 to page 52, and from there on continues in our prayer book through page 63. You can use those pages if you desire, or you can use your own thoughts, your own words, your own reflections, Whenever you're ready, please feel free to be seated and continue with some quiet reflection. But in this moment, I ask you to rise as we begin the Amidah, page 46, Adonai Sefatai.
Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha Adonai Sefatai Tiftach Ufi Tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei B'neihem, Le'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham ve'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Hakol atah Rab le'Hoshia, Morid Chatal, Mechalkel Chayim bechesed, Mechayei Hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melech, Melech meimit umechaye, Umatmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah l'chachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
dedicate this next prayer, this next moment to them. Each week we draw all of those individuals from our own circles of concern together into our community, where collectively we create one great prayer for healing in the hope that our prayer can bring that healing that is so much needed to our world. This week we as a congregation pray for Richard Hightown, Bob Caden, Sally Keaton, Sandra Davidson McVitie, Stephanie Lasher, Lloyd Suter, Sheila Levin, Laura Troche, Debbie Warner, Carol DeVore, and Rick Davis. There are others, those with us this Shabbat are thinking of that haven't been mentioned yet. Please feel free to add their name at this time. Susan, Carlos, and Hannah, may they have healing.
Dan, Steve, Becky, Claire, and Ray.
For Dan, Steve, Becky, Claire, and Ray, may they all have wholeness. For all those mentioned, those many, many more that go unmentioned around our world, we join collectively in a prayer for healing. Page 253, the Misha Baruch. So, no one here knew it was coming tonight, but I'm going to give you a quiz, pop quiz. Are you ready? Which one of the following common Jewish surnames does not belong in this group? Katz, Rappaport, Kahan, Kagan, or Cornfield? One of them doesn't. Anyone? Kornfeld. Kornfeld is the one that does not belong with the others. And the question is, why? What sets it apart? Well, all of the other names mentioned, Katz, Rappaport, Kahan, and Kagan, they all are associated with belonging to the priestly class of the Jewish people. So if your surname is Cohen, for example, it may be that you were descended from Kohanes, addressed by Moses in this week's Torah portion, meaning the high priest Aaron and his sons. The surname Katz, well, it's an acronym for Kohen Tzedek, or a righteous Kohen. The surname Kaplan is an acronym for Kohen Poloni, or an ordinary Kohen, an ordinary priest. The surname Kagan is the Russian version of Cohen, with a G replacing the H since there is no H sound in Russian. And if your family surname is Rappaport, you may be descended from a well-known family of priests, Rappus or Porto in Italy. Barkans, maybe another name you might be familiar with. They are Bar Kohen, son of a Kohen, literally. Or the surname, I had a best friend growing up with the surname Mazer. Anyone know any Mazers? So Mazer is an acronym for Mezera Aharon, from the seed of Aaron. We have all of these ascriptions, all of these names connoting all of this status, and what is it worth? What is it worth? In Reform Judaism, we actually don't even recognize priestly privilege anymore. We don't give Kohanes or Levites the privilege of reciting blessings over the first aliyot on days the Torah is read. We don't have those who are descended from priests come to bless the congregation on holidays during the duchening ritual that's done in conservative, Orthodox, and other traditional services. And we don't practice the ritual of Pidyon Haben, the redemption of the firstborn to the priests. The reason, simply stated, has to do with the irrelevance of our interest in seeing Temple Judaism with its sacrifices and arcane rituals resurrected. But nevertheless, this does not mean that Reformed Jews are unaware of their priestly status, and certainly there are lessons to be learned from a portion such as this week's Parashat Emor, which dwells in a major way on the function of the priests in the temple. From the start of this week's portion, we learn that purity was a major concern of the priests. Chapter 21 of Leviticus directs, "Speak to the priests, the sons of Aaron, and say to them, no one shall defile himself or become impure for any person among his kin." Tradition has interpreted this as the prohibition of Kohanim to be in contact with the dead, with a corpse, with certain exceptions, though, to avoid circumstances that would make the priest ritually impure, in Hebrew, to avoid becoming tameh. One who is of this special class of people, priests, they're told in this week's portion they must not become tameh in any way. They can't shave their head. They can't be seen acting inappropriately in public. Last week we spoke of the importance of holiness. If we believe that every soul contains something sacred, we might continue this week with the question, how do we serve that sense of God? If we accept the Torah's ascription of us that we are to be a kingdom of priests, what does that mean for our actions? What relevance do the ideas of ritual purity and impurity have in our lives today? How do we live a life that represents the values of our ethical tradition in a world which seems to mock them? How do we insist on living according to ethics and rules when so often, those around us seem to not care? Judaism discourages withdrawal from the world. The entire system of commandments, of mitzvot, emphasizes being of the world, in the world. The purpose of Torah study is learning, but also living a life of ethics and purity. Involvement in the world is a key aspect of who we are. What about those of us, though, who no longer, due to illness, are not able to be active as they desire? What about those who, due to a variety of reasons, are not able to study Torah? The mood of our tradition builds on the value of engagement with people. We know people who cannot devote their lives to Torah study. But Judaism teaches us to approach this with understanding, offering countless opportunities that anyone, regardless of their learning, regardless of their priestly status, can serve. By doing so, we act out the values of our traditions. When our portion says that the priests shall not be defiled due to anyone, we can see in that command a challenge that each of us, as vessels for the sacred, are being called to do whatever we can, according to our ability to make pure the impure of our world in which we live. We're called not to be corrupted by people or things that defile our world. Our job is to act upon that command, each in our own way. With a pure heart and with pure intentions, we can engage sincerely with each other. In fact, this whole period on our calendar, the period of the Omer, is one that calls us to raise ourselves higher, to elevate our lives, to work towards greater degrees of purity, to instill better behaviors, to be better people. Each week, each day, for 50 days, for 7 weeks, we count as we prepare ourselves to receive Torah on Sinai at the holiday of Shavuot. And as we do this, we ask ourselves, how can we value kindness, directness, and honesty? How can we use our love of Judaism, our love of Torah, to build a more loving and compassionate community? How can we advocate for those who are troubled or burdened? How can we do our part to protect our communities and our environment? How can we be protective of life and help to meet the needs of every individual, and whether priest or Israelite, to deliver unto every person honor? We strive for this, we struggle for this, we come back each week hoping to hear the words that will help us achieve this. And as we do so, we walk hand in hand as a community, season by season, recognizing all that we've accomplished and where to we hope to go. We rise as we turn to page 278 in our prayer books, preparing to declare this new night of the Omer. Together we recite the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Hayom shmona ve'esrim yom shehem arba'a shavuot la'omer. Today is 28 days, which is 4 weeks of the Omer. We continue into the concluding section of our service, page 282, Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gedula l'yotzer bereshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech malchei hamachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu notei shamayim ve'yoser haaretz, u'moshe karov hashamayim ima'al, u'shchinatu zo, begav meromim, hu Eloheinu ein od, emet malkeinu efes ulato, kagatu b'torato, v'yadat
together at the top of page 287. May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Loved each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace. Seated. Yesh kochavim, shara magia arza rak kasher hem atzmam avdu ve'enam. There are stars up above, so far away, we only see their lights long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. With the stars that light up the darkest nights, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We remember in this moment all of those blessed individuals, members of our family, former members of our congregation, our friends, our loved ones, all those who have brought hope and blessing to our lives. They are our eternal blessing as we remember them in this moment. This week we are in a period of Shiva for our dear member, Penina Libby Halbany. May her memory be for a blessing, and we offer all of her 4 children, among them our member Matt Halbany and his family, healing, wholeness, blessing in her memory. We are also in a period of Shloshim for Jordan Brooke Kaplan, daughter of our members Stephanie and Jeffrey Kaplan, to whom we continue to send our condolences. And this Shabbat we are observing the yahrzeit, the anniversary of the passing of the following individuals: Isabel N. Boardman, Joseph Brace, Stuart Bricker, Tilly Cohen, Joseph Colton, Carol Colton, Rita Daniels, Philip Donnan, Nathan Fields, Aaron Gottlieb, Mitchell Hefter, Marion Klein, Fanny Adelson Copeland, Barbara Curhan, Martin Latin, Ida LaCours, Hassel Deitch Levy, Alex Lieberman, Solomon S. Max, Harold R. Nelson, Grace B. Prystowski, Rivoli Rhea Rowe, Harriet Saul, Sheldon Schwartz, and Morris Taub. There are others members of our congregation are thinking of for the mourner's Kaddish. Please feel free to add their name at this time. And according to the custom of our congregation, we stand in support and solidarity of all those observing yahrzeits, all those remembering loved ones, as we add our thoughts to theirs and recite together the words of Kaddish on page 294. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon, u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'yizman kari v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudusha barichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen.
Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya, Nechaim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromav, Hu Ya'aseh Shalom, Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen.
You may be seated as we welcome our officer, Amy Klein, to share tonight's announcements.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Calling all young family nature explorers. Join Rabbi Gutman and Lauren Azuri, West Bloomfield Park's naturalists, this Sunday, May 15th at 10:30 a.m. for Forest Cats. We will explore animal life cycles with children age 0 to 6 and their families. On Sunday, May 22nd at 10:30, we will study animal classification with children 4 to 10 and their families. Be sure to RSVP by May 12th, which was yesterday. Space is limited. We'll be meeting in the back of the Recreation Activities Center. Our Aces High annual fundraiser is right around the corner, Saturday, May 21st at 7:30. Everyone should have received their invitations in the mail. You will enjoy casino games, a raffle, food, silent auction, and mingling with your friends. Be sure to send back your RSVP cards and raffle tickets. It's going to be a great time. Call the office with any questions. Rabbi Gutman will be hosting a farewell open house at his home on Sunday, May 22nd from 2 to 5. His address is 4159 Wendell Road in West Bloomfield. All are welcome to stop by and say goodbye to Rabbi Gutman and his family. Our annual congregational meeting is being held on Tuesday, May 24th at 7 p.m. here at Temple in person. Anyone who requires an absentee ballot is to call the office and one will be mailed to you. You should have all received the meeting packets in the mail. Temple Colony will be sponsoring a farewell brunch for Rabbi Gutman on Sunday, May 29th of Memorial Weekend from 10 to noon here at Temple. All are welcome. Please RSVP to the office for this event so we have a proper head count. As a reminder, the Temple office will be closed on Monday, May 30th for Memorial Day. And last, the Sisterhood fundraiser is back. Chocolate and tchotchkes will take place on June 1st from 7 to 9. Live penny and silent auction, chocolate and fun for everyone. Bring your friends. See the full flyer of information in the weekly email. RSVP to Connie Silver by May 26th. Shabbat Shalom.
I think Sisterhood just needs to remove the "and" from their program so it becomes chocolate tchotchkes. That would be a lot of fun. We'd like to welcome Joe Conrad to help us with Motzi and Kiddush. We turn to page 5. Well, first we turn to page 5 for the blessing over wine as we rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratza banu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh bereshit. Ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim. Ki vanu vacharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim. Ve'shabbat kodshecha, be'ahava uvratzon. Hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, v'kadesh haShabbat. Amen.
L'chaim. We continue with our blessing over bread.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Te'avon. You get to take it home tonight too, Joe.
Share with everyone. Be careful, of course.
Shabbat Shalom. Our closing song, you can have a seat. Our closing song, Adon Olam, page 321.
Adon Olam Asher Mala B'terem Kol Yisir Nivra Le'ed Nasa V'cheso Kol Hazai Melech Shemo Nikra Hazai Melech Shemo Nikra Le'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Vehu Haya Vehu Oved Vehu Yiyeh B'tifara Vehu Yiyeh B'tifara Vehu Echad V'ein Sheni V'chamsilo V'chachbira V'li Reishit V'li Tachlit V'lo ha'oz v'hamizra V'lo ha'oz v'hamizra V'hu Eli v'chai go'ali V'tzor chevli v'ein tzara V'hu nisi u'manos li V'narkosi b'yom ekra V'narkosi b'yom ekra V'yado avkid ruchi Ve'ehishan ve'ayira Ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li ve'lo ira Adonai li ve'lo ira.
Can't go up that high. Go off to Janet for a beautiful service, to Jordan, who was our stream team member of the night, for our ushers and our board members and everyone who made tonight's service so lovely. Shkoch, we wish you strength and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.